Hey everyone, welcome to the Nootropic Reviewer live question and answer. Please keep your questions clean and no spamming in the comment section. As if you do spam me, if you do spam like last time, then I may have to remove you from the channel. And where I first want to start is somebody asked a question of why is ashwagandha not in your top 5 nootropics? Ashwagandha, it's never been in my top 5 nootropics, and the primary reason why is because I don't feel like it is a nootropic supplement that will help to further your productivity, your efficiency, make you more money, improve your grades. It's more so something to help you with stress and stress management. And the main reason why it's so popular is because it's relatively healthy while at the same time being used in traditional South Asian medicine for centuries. So let me know, guys, what kind of questions you have, and let's jump right into it. Ashwagandha is definitely for stress, anxiety, calmness. And now that there's different extracts, you can use whatever kind of ashwagandha is going to be practical for whatever you're looking to accomplish. So like the Shodan is really good specifically for sleep. I'm enjoying that, 120 milligrams right before bed. And that's helping me like definitely get more restorative sleep. And nice shout out for this product over here. This is Shilajit. It's like a pure Russian Shilajit from Cultivate Elevate. I really like this product. It's in like a nice dropper. So it's like you got to take 20 drops, and then you can take it with a meal. You can take it without a meal, and you actually do feel like a good energy boost. So I'm enjoying this. You get like a nice dropper and nice trying new things. This is definitely more potent and more effective than the typical capsules. For me, ashwagandha is best for snapping out of a bad mood and is best saved for that. So when it comes to that, that's really interesting because some people can notice ashwagandha that way, in that they can use it and get that acute benefit and feel somewhat calm, somewhat present. But for most people, like 70% of people, it doesn't seem to work that way. Ashwagandha is something that they need to be taking daily, and then they get the cumulative benefits from it. A great alternative I like, rather than taking ashwagandha for those times when you're a bit snappy, a bit irritable, is 5-HTP, which 5-HTP will make it such that your serotonin is increased. And it's not something you would use all the time, but it's very hard to be in a bad mood after you've tried some 5-HTP. So if it's mood specifically, then 5-HTP is good. If it's energy and focus, then L-Tyrosine is also good. GABA is also something good. You can use that way. Some people like L-theanine. I've recently noticed that L-theanine, when I'm fasted, can make me somewhat tired and sluggish. So that's something to be mindful of. Caffeine and L-theanine is not really for everyone. There's nothing wrong with just going ahead and trying some caffeine by itself if you want to get some work done. I ingested about 80 milligrams of caffeine today in the late afternoon, and I felt really good. Didn't use the L-theanine. So it's there for when you need it. And so you all know, a lot of people ask, what did I take prior to this nootropic live stream? Well, it's 12:35 a.m. right now. I should be tired, but I'm okay. But what I used, which is a good tool later in the day when you kind of know you should be eating something, but you want to get a little bit of extra work done, I try or consider taking phosphatidylserine, which is a nootropic I talked about a few weeks ago. And that really like does that job of giving you that feeling like you've eaten something, like fight off the hunger, allow you to be somewhat present in your work and not irritable, cranky. You feel pretty calm. What is your favorite blend? The ice. That's a good question. It's still probably Quality of Mind. I really like Quality of Mind. I found some uses of using Alpha Brain, the original formula, not the new formula, because that contains some caffeine. So I'm pretty like mindful and attentive to how much caffeine I'm using each day. So it'll be the Quality of Mind. I prefer the original formula versus the caffeine free. I have like little packages which have the seven capsule serving, and it's saved for a day when I need it. I wouldn't use it a day when I'm using modafinil, for example, but that'll be my favorite blend. And yeah, no other blends really come close. Do you still use the Lion's Mane 8-to-1? I use it every single day. I use it in the morning pre-workout, use it later in the day, use it sometimes in the evening. I don't use it before bed, but definitely I'm enjoying it. And I haven't noticed too much of a difference using it in the capsule form versus the powder form. And it's interesting, you would expect to get some savings and cost savings if you get the powder over the capsule. But if you actually look at the math and you look at the serving cost, it's pretty similar. Bro, for what's the most stimulating racetam other than the obvious phenylpiracetam? For me, that would be oxiracetam. So of the popular ones, oxiracetam is most often used to boost alertness and boost focus. And what's so is you should be able to tell the oxiracetam working after ingestion. You may just get that spike of energy. You might want to get focused on whatever priorities or whatever tasks you have. And that makes it such that you should be taking some time off of oxiracetam as well. I think similar to phenylpiracetam, it should, or maybe not like phenylpiracetam is something you wouldn't even want to take it 2 days in a row. But oxiracetam is such like you would maybe go 4 weeks on, 1 week off, maybe a couple months on, a couple weeks off. Whereas piracetam, you can actually get away with going 3 months straight on it without feeling side effects or without getting any sense of a tolerance. But the issue I made with oxiracetam at the beginning was I used it so many days consecutively that I stopped feeling that nice boost of alertness, which I really missed. So that's for me anyway. And I think most people, aniracetam, piracetam, not too, you won't notice like the energy or the mental acuity that way. You should make a video on nootropics that help your immune system. Yeah, I like to think I've tried a nice variety of content, and it seemed like there wasn't much interest from the audience. So I'm trying to put out videos that like the majority of the audience definitely wants to tune into. Good quality St. John's wort is good. Thanks for that. Good to know about 5-HTP. Yeah, if 5-HTP, it used to be very popular. Now I guess there's better nootropics to improve your mood, because what so is 5-HTP, it's is not something you should be doing. You should be taking all the time. It's like putting a bandage over your problems. It doesn't really help, like the root of the cause. Another nice benefit with 5-HTP is like as a result of boosting serotonin levels, you can reduce carbohydrate cravings. So what they did is they've formulated a number of products that you can use for appetite suppression, and 5-HTP is one of the really good ingredients because none or very few side effects, and you should feel that specifically with carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are such that they raise serotonin levels. Taking some nootropics with no sleep sucks. I agree, and it sets you up for a bad cycle. So like a neat just like a fun thing I like doing is it's like this. Most people, they will use stimulants when they are not sleep deprived. They'll use stimulants when they're sleep deprived. What I like to do is like I kind of have stimulants as my reward. So if it's a night that I had a lot of sleep, I like to take more stimulants and just think I can take advantage of the sleep. I know it makes no sense, but it's the reward for me sleeping, because when you get in that cycle of like not sleeping, taking stimulants, then it's repeat, because the stimulants make it such that it's harder to go to bed afterwards. Have you tried True Focus by Now Foods? I haven't. I like Now Foods, their individual ingredients. I'm not too crazy about their different blends. I tried a product that there was one product though I did like. It was called Thyroid Energy by Now Foods. I might pick up some phosphatidylserine. Yeah, not a bad idea, especially good for those moments like I mentioned, a little bit, you can say irritable, maybe you're hungry, maybe you're sleep deprived. Mixing phosphatidylserine along with caffeine seems to really work wonders with people. What's your opinion on CDP choline versus alpha GPC, both acutely and from an overall dopamine health perspective? So both of them have their uses. It's not abnormal for you to have both products, in your home. So the only days in which I would use both of them is on days when I definitely feel like I need more choline. Maybe I'm expending more energy. I'm doing a lot of tasks. At the end of the day, I'm feeling somewhat tired. Then I would use both of them. Like the other day, I used some modafinil, and that seemed to work well for me. Alpha GPC is going to be a lot more effective, but the problem with alpha GPC is it's also more likely to cause side effects. And what that usually looks like is brain fog and a bad mood. And when I say brain fog, it's like you can't remember things, you forget what your tasks are, you feel kind of sluggish. So people do experience that with alpha GPC, and that's the only reason I can think of as far as why they would use CDP choline, because it's like this. It's like choline bitartrate is the worst, and then a little bit better is CDP choline, and then the best thing is alpha GPC. So you'll find alpha GPC in the majority of nootropic blends for that specific reason. And if you're using other nootropics, then it becomes even more so for you to use alpha GPC, especially like the Racetams, like Piracetam. I'd say it's been my experience in speaking with people, maybe like 80 to 90% of people need to be taking Piracetam along with a choline source, and only like 10, maybe 20% of people can get away with taking it without. As well with alpha GPC, it's more commonly in pre-workout formulas, not necessarily for the focus. It's the focus is along with some research showing that it can to some extent boost growth hormone levels. People interested in phosphatidylserine for memory, I would recommend Go-To Cola. Go-To Cola is kind of like a hit or miss. I did not respond too well to Go-To Cola. Makes you feel like a little bit strange, almost like taking bad ginseng, for example. Guys, don't mind giving this live stream a thumbs up. I appreciate your support. You should do a live nootropic report. I have no idea what that means. Best nootropic for anxiety and nervousness. So we covered this earlier. I think ashwagandha is pretty popular. L-Theanine is popular. 5-HTP is also a good one. What we really want is an Adderall alternative. I actually made a video on that. It was 5 alternatives to Adderall. So this is going to be pretty, as you know, pretty challenging overall, but it can kind of be possible if you are willing to take a particular nootropic like 2 to 3 times a day, because some of them can kind of get you that feeling, that get you that focus, and that like that really good concentration and even the mood boost, but it's short lasting. It's only maybe for a couple of hours. Do you see yourself making your own nootropics blend? Yeah, perhaps it's a possibility. Maybe sometime in the future. Like I'm really not impressed with the majority of nootropic blends out there, but it's the same kind of problem that most people have, in that like nootropic blend is going to be such that it may work for some people and may not work for other individuals. I tried 250 milligrams of Piracetam today and didn't notice much, which is common. Piracetam is really subtle. It will work if you have like a pretty, like a day which is somewhat strenuous, you're working pretty hard, there's boring like tasks which are very repetitive. That's when I noticed Piracetam working. It makes it a little bit easier to have better willpower, make better decisions, and focus on what matters. Ever heard of using deer antler and IGF as a natural nootropic? Deer antler I've used in a few testosterone products in the past, and they actually did seem to work pretty. It did seem to work pretty well. It was I can't remember the name of the formula, but it was specifically that ingredient, which I did think really helped me to boost my testosterone levels. But then I tried the same blend again, and it didn't really do just that. So it could have just been placebo. Best nootropic to improve reaction time, to improve sports performance, and being present at the moment. Caffeine, yeah, caffeine's gonna be pretty hard to compete with. It'll probably be caffeine. Lion's mane may help you out if you're a little bit stressed out. Although with caffeine, the problem is then it's gonna make it such that your like overall judgment won't be as good as it is typically. So people have asked the question of like, what's the best nootropic for like an MMA fighter? That would be one which might be good, caffeine and L-Theanine, specifically because you're going to get the energy, and the L-Theanine is going to be as such, so like your mental faculties should be working as well as normal. I've developed a severe memory problem. Do you have any recommendations for me to try to get my memory back? Taylor, I'm really interested to know more about this. So do share more about whatever happened, and we'll get to that, because there's like a number of nootropics which can work for like brain trauma or brain injury. Any cognitive benefits from Nutricos Tonkat Alley? I have not tried the that brand specifically, but I like their products. I have their Mercurians, which is decent. Tonkat Alley, I don't really think so. First, it's supposed to, in theory, be an adaptogen and help you to reduce your levels of stress, but not in my experience. I almost think it can be like an anti-nootropic and make you less productive, because with Tonkat Alley, you can often get nauseous and yeah, really not feel like you want to do any work. But then again, it gives you that nice libido boost and that nice testosterone boost. Best supplement for a college student for his studies and sports and have a great vibe all day. I actually really liked taking Nootropic. When I was at that time, what happened was when I first started selling homes as a residential real estate agent, I was as well studying part-time. I was just having 2 courses, like a 2-course semester. And Nootropic was something that made it such I was able to do everything, was able to focus, enjoy my life. And you may want to start off with a pretty small dose, go like 10 milligrams under the tongue. You can increase it to up to like 30 to 40 milligrams per day, depending on how you tolerate it. And then definitely take some time off, because similar to oxyracetam, you will build a tolerance to it quite quickly. And really just know how you respond to caffeine. There should be like a book on caffeine, because it's like a really, just complex, sophisticated one. I worry about messing with too many of these herbal nootropics involving testosterone and energy claims, since there always seems to be reports of issues with DHT and hormonal dysregulation. And I couldn't agree with you more. Really no need to look into testosterone boosting supplements or herbs to begin with, unless you're maybe somebody with lower testosterone levels and you want to try something. Then they're, of course, a safer alternative than doing something more risky. But for the majority of people, they're not going to notice these testosterone boosting nootropics in the first place, especially considering like most of the individuals are on this channel are probably younger age, maybe like 25 to 35, something like that. I'd like to assume that you have pretty good testosterone levels, and the way that can in most cases be fixed or be optimized is by getting more fat in your diet. It has been shown time and time again that if you're getting like under 25% of your calories from fats, it's not enough. And that's one of the main reasons why your testosterone levels is not as high as it should be. Get it up, like, try it 25 to 35% of your calories coming from fats. Get some saturated fat, some monounsaturated fat, polyunsaturated fat, and then you should be in a position where your testosterone is a bit better. And be really mindful of your recovery. If it's such like you're overtraining and you're not recovering properly, then that's a big reason why you, for example, may have lower testosterone levels. If you're doing a lot of high intensity interval training, especially when you're doing it fasted, you're not getting a recovery shaken, or you're not consuming some calories prior, then that has well been shown to decrease your testosterone levels. So be mindful of that. It doesn't just happen from overtraining necessarily, but also from everyday stress. I know I don't like to believe it, but too much work and work stress, that can, as a result, kind of hurt your testosterone levels. What's your opinion on taking Armodafinil with the exam cramming stack? And if you want to take Armodafinil, which one should you leave out from the exam cramming stack? I'm trying to remember what the exam cramming stack even was. But I did talk about caffeine at the end. That's one which you can probably get away with removing, unless you're sleep deprived. And I'll admit, Armodafinil was really good for helping me study. I liked it way more than Modafinil. With Modafinil, you're just happy all the time. You're not remembering anything you studied, but you're getting through material. Armodafinil makes it such that your mood, it's not significantly increased. You have to, sometimes you're like, you don't even remember taking Armodafinil because you feel like a little bit more of an energetic version of yourself. So, with Armodafinil, go for a fairly low dose. Remove the caffeine if you have it there, and then you should be good. Do you recommend giving your body a break sometimes from all nootropics? I take KSM 66, caffeine, L-Theanine, and lion's mane every day. I would take some time off of KSM 66, and I would take some time off of caffeine depending on how you respond to it. If you are somebody that, for example, doesn't build a tolerance to caffeine, well, then you're okay. But for most people, they should be taking a week off of caffeine every few months. Or if you really can't, then just make sure you lower the dose. You maybe just to get like half a cup of coffee in 50 to 100 milligrams. So what I personally do is I use times when I travel as my break from the majority of nootropics. So within the past few months, I've traveled 3 times. And so I've taken like a lot of time off of nootropics. The only ones that I did take continuously on my trip were I took caffeine, I took Tonkat Alley, I took Tribulus, like a multivitamin, fish oil, and I think L-Tyrosine, if that even counts. I I don't really think it counts too much because L-Tyrosine, I mean, I could take it for a couple years straight and not build any sort of a tolerance to it. But I 100% do think you should take some time off of nootropics. I have found that Piracetam seems to be pretty effective now because I took a good month off of it. What happened was I ran out. I didn't bother ordering from Nootropics Depot or wherever for a while, and it just came in. And like I took some last Saturday, and man, I could definitely feel it working. It was awesome. What is the best nootropics for very poor motivation other than coffee? Are any lowering my motivation other than ashwagandha? That's a great place to start. Not necessarily adding, but removing. So Travis, curious to know what else you're taking that could be causing demotivation. The three main culprits would be, ashwagandha, lion's mane, and Bacopa. Bacopa especially, like it doesn't matter whether it's Bacognize or Synapsa. If you take too much of this stuff, I think it's a little bit more or a little bit demotivating. Ashwagandha depends on the form. I think the KSM 66 should be okay as long as you take it with caffeine. Along with coffee, of course, it's going to be stimulants. So theocrine, if you like dynamine, if you like yohimbine, those will seem to help you with the alertness. But L-Tyrosine is something really powerful. Later portion of the day, for instance, when I needed to make my real estate follow-up calls, I would take 750 milligrams of L-Tyrosine. And that not only works for me, that's a pretty common practice, which is why you will see L-Tyrosine in the majority of nootropic blends that are supposed to help you with energy and performance. It's like a key ingredient. What I'm looking for is the best nootropic for socializing, the absolute best. Also, just out of curiosity, no, I have not tried that. The best nootropic absolutely for socializing, I think it would be lion's mane. I noticed it was way easier to connect with people, get out of my head when I started taking lion's mane, being like unattached to the conversation, being interested in people, giving them my attention, making them feel important. Because when you're being social and when you're wanting to get to know people, just keep that in mind. Everybody on their forehead has make me feel important, and you will treat people like they are the center of attention, and that's what they deserve. Is Modafinil as efficient as Modafinil? No, it helps you with focus in a very strange way. You're going to be grumpy, you're going to be irritable. I really don't like Modafinil. It's like 2 thumbs down. I can't think of why anyone would like want to use it. Maybe they're just somebody who needs a stimulant and needs an energy boost, but then like 7 or 8 hours later, they feel awful. So maybe I would use Modafinil if it was such like I didn't have caffeine and really wanted something. It can help you if you're a bit sleep deprived, but the headaches are really bad. You can't get away from them, and the irritability. I'm a student and I have to give an exam, which is mostly aptitude dominated. Which drug I should take? Start the exam is 1 month for budgeting. Yeah, Pankaj, watch the most recent video I made on the exam stack. So that's specific for when you're cramming for an exam 14 to 30 days out. You take that stack on a daily basis up to the day that you have your exam, and then you should be good because it covers everything from memory, learning retention, energy, work ethic, and it has successfully worked for me. What is your opinion on Suboxone? Suboxone, it's kind of promoted to be an alternative to Adderall, to Ritalin, help you with ADHD, help you with focus. I think it's okay. It's no side effects, but it's simply like not strong enough. When you consider the serving size per each capsule, you'll likely have to take much more than the recommended dose. Like I noticed I had to take, for example, like 4 or 5 pills to even feel anything. So it's nice in that you may get somewhat of a boost of concentration, but not good enough for me to go ahead and purchase a second time around. What is the best non-Racetam supplement for memory? That would be Bacopa, whether it's Synapsa or the Bacognize. Those are the 2 good forms. Doesn't really matter where you get your Bacopa from. It's been my experience over the years, and I've been taking Bacopa I think consistently since 2014. Maybe I went a couple years off of it, just on and off, and that really seems to work. Doesn't matter where you get it from. Take something like 300 to 500 milligrams twice per day. I don't like taking it in the morning because it can be somewhat relaxing. I prefer to get my workout in, and then I use the Bacopa, and your memory feels like real good. And it's interesting. I always thought you needed to be taking it for a couple weeks in order for you to feel it. but I got back from England 6 days ago. I started using Bacopa again since I didn't take it during my trip, and like I can clearly tell there's like a big difference in my memory, recalling things prior to the trip, just everything, all those signs, and it's a nice feeling. What brand? Okay, what brand of go-to cola? I don't know, but the one I tried was the Nootropics Depot one. I didn't like that one. It's like a green bottle. I have read. Are there acute effects of Bacopa? And does timing matter since the effects are cumulative? You know, it's a little bit similar to how ashwagandha works. You may notice the acute benefit, you may not. The effects are cumulative, especially when it comes to the memory improvement. But as far as its adaptogenic properties and feeling centered, feeling less stressed, I definitely feel it. And that was one of the main reasons why I stuck to taking it after I first tried it, like 2013, 2014, was it was a little bit, it was like rhodiola rosea, and like you immediately become calmer. You just kind of like wake up, and you become very attentive to your surroundings and everything. And in one of my latest videos, I went over 10 different nootropic stacks, and one of them, which is really good to take right in the middle of the day, is rhodiola rosea and Bacopa minerea. And I can, yeah, definitely still feel it after I take it, but that's not everyone's. Some people feel it, you know, some people don't. No. Would you suggest nootropics to the elderly? Yes, because they don't have to be dangerous nootropics. They can be safer herbal ones. And most of the nootropics that actually have research backing their effects with respect to improving cognition have been done on the elderly. So the ones which have been, you know, tried, tested, and true, of course, you would run it by the GP, make sure it doesn't conflict with anything they're currently taking, as far as scripts or anything. Is there any nootropic like Piracetam, subtle and working? Oh yeah, there's so many of them. More like just give me a list and I can hand pick a few. Best ways to switch to caffeine pills and taper the dose every bit every day. Maybe you're referring to like the smaller dose caffeine that I talked about in my latest video. Like smaller doses of caffeine taken throughout the day are better than taking like a higher dosage of caffeine. And there's a study which did do a good job representing that. So you can, for example, take 300 milligrams of caffeine once in the morning, or you can spread that out throughout the course of the day. And you will likely, from doing the latter, you'll likely get the boost of energy, the focus, the mental clarity. Somebody says, crap, I'm taking a lot of lion's mane. I think it's okay. I've never had anything go wrong from taking too much lion's mane. It came to a point that there were so many different brands that were manufacturing lion's mane, and they're like, nootropic reviewer, try our lion's mane. And now, like, I think I have a whole drawer full of lion's mane, and these companies are saying, Michael, have you reviewed our product yet? And honestly, I have to like try it. So I've been taking too much lion's mane so I could see how I'm responding to all of them. Like no side effects whatsoever. It's real nice. I'm not even gonna bother trying Bacopa after all the lethargy and demotivation reports. If you're wired in a way where you're like ambitious all the time, I don't think you have to worry too much about it. But and working out really helps. Does quality of mind work immediately after 2 to 3 days? Yeah, for most people, they should notice the result, the mental energy, the focus, and having a productive day. They should notice it the first day. But at the same time, most users of quality of mind report after they're finished the bottle that it was definitely working more like the last week, for example. And if you read the quality of mind product, it says to take weekends off because there are particular ingredients they don't want you to take every single day. Is Piracetam really good for studying? I'm a student. I watched your video. It said Piracetam is good for studying. So should I give it a try? You kind of give it a try if you're looking at it. It did really help me study. I was taking 1 gram 3 times a day, and I was questioning whether or not it was working. But when I stopped taking Piracetam, it was very clear my grades suffer. I wasn't recalling things as well, and I could definitely tell Piracetam was like one of the best supplements out there specifically for studying. So take it with a choline source. You can start off taking 2 grams per day, along with like 200 milligrams of choline, alpha GPC being my favorite each time that you take it. And be a bit patient with it. Give it a couple of weeks. Likely you will feel better learning retention, definitely better work ethic. energy, motivation, it'll be easy for you to ignore things outside of work, and give you that like that tunnel vision focus. People like me with ADHD, L-Tyrosine just gives me a slight bump. Consider making it like the dose a little bit higher and taking it fasted. You can also combine L-Tyrosine along with N-acetyl L-Tyrosine. That seems to work well with some people. Which one is the best nootropic for passing an exam? Same thing, Abhishek, because you keep asking me to answer this. Watch that video and then just message me either on Patreon or Instagram if you have further questions. True. Mucuna is more of a heavy immediate smack, less healthy, but more effective, right? Because it does increase dopamine levels, and you can say arguably like an unhealthy way compared to L-Tyrosine. What nootropics do you recommend for a job interview? So the problem with job interviews, it's like most of the time you're like super nervous. So consider all the nootropics that will specifically help you like shut down that kind of fight or flight response and let you be calmer and be more present. So L-theanine is really good. Lion's mane is really good. I would advise you to stay away from caffeine unless it's some sort of job interview where they really wanted to see you and like put in some energy, have some inflections with your tonality. Then it could be good. In most cases, not though. And lion's mane should probably be good too. Bro, thanks. I'll have to say you have so much knowledge. Thanks for the compliment, Yogesh, and good to see you here. Habits getting better. Could you please? No. Is alpha GPC? Yeah, brand new to nootropics. Is alpha GPC good to try on its own as a way to get into nootropics? That's a great question, and the answer is yes. But the problem is it's so subtle. You'll probably not notice anything. So with it, that's if you look at articles and they list their top 10 nootropics, alpha GPC is very often going to be one out there because it's choline. Choline being found in egg yolks is something that is known and has a lot of research backing its effects. Just the issue is that a lot of times we want to take something that we can immediately notice, whether it's like a boost of alertness, boost of concentration, boost of mood. You may not get that with alpha GPC, but trust that if you take alpha GPC daily, like even a couple times a day, whatever you're working towards, have some objective measures, they will be better. Like similar to Noopep, people don't notice it working, but then at the end of the month, they're like, okay, my sales are up, things are going better with work, and that's the best way to be able to tell. Yo, brother, keep crushing it. Thanks, Mr. Boost Your Biology, and keep up the great work on your channel. Do you prefer use Armodafinil or Modafinil? Sandy, so I did make a video just going over the differences between Armodafinil and Modafinil. Overall, I prefer Modafinil specifically because of the mood boosting properties with it. So the way in which I would use Modafinil would be a day when I need to like execute a lot of work that I don't typically enjoy doing. But in order for me to be able to accomplish that and execute it, it would be such that the day before I take my Modafinil, I would have to have like a long list of things that I need to be getting done, because once you take your Modafinil, that's it. Your judgment is impaired. You don't really know what your most important priorities are anymore. It's just like you have the energy to execute, but you don't know what you need to do. And the mood boost is like so significant. It's incredible. But with our Modafinil, what I like about it more so is it's better for learning. With Modafinil, there are studies showing that it can kind of inhibit your ability to learn things because you don't get those emotional highs and lows. And very often you need to have some sort of emotional, you can say, experience with whatever material you're learning in order for you to retain that information long term. That's not happening with Modafinil. With our Modafinil, because your mood isn't as boosted, you're able to memorize things. So that's the reason why I liked our Modafinil specifically for studying, maybe attending a conference only if I'm sleep deprived. And note that with our Modafinil, it's a little bit better when it comes to interactions, whether you're doing team meetings, presentations, you're able to slow yourself down and you can still ingest caffeine in most cases. Whereas with Modafinil, along with caffeine can be a bit too much for some people, and then they're overly stimulated. Ignore it, man. There's so many questions I have to skip over. Jeez. Best nootropics for, man, there's a lot of memory related questions these days. Best nootropic for improving day-to-day memory, especially ones that affect the hippocampus. Bacopa, Piracetam is good too. Lion's mane gives me headaches. Could this be due to bad quality? Absolutely, it can. There are many different forms of lion's mane. I prefer the 8-to-1 dual extract that that Nootropics Depot has. Also, the coffees are decent. There's pretty good feedback out there about from like Four Sigmatic coffee or the Fresh Cap. So with lion's mane, that's actually a big problem right now. There's a lot of manufacturers making poor quality lion's mane. So don't give up on it, and then you should be good. What's your recommended daily dosage for lion's mane 8-to-1? That would be 500 milligrams twice a day. If you're the type of person that doesn't mind taking lion's mane 3 times a day, then take 300 milligrams 3 times a day. That's how I'm typically doing it. Once pre-workout, once again at 2 o'clock, and then again between 6 to 8 o'clock, depending on my day. And that seems to work well for me. And you should notice if you haven't taken it for a while, that after you take lion's mane, you suddenly feel like very present, very unattached. You don't seem to worry or have concern anymore. You're acting more from a place of like love and abundance, and it feels real nice. You have a much better relationship with your work. What if we stop taking all these nootropics? Will it make us depend and less efficient than before taking these? No, it will not. The only maybe exception to that is if you're like with respect to stimulants. Like think about it like this: if you're used to taking no stimulants and then you suddenly take a lot of stimulants and then you go off of stimulants, you are going to be performing lower than baseline because you have kind of accustomed your brain to be on stimulants more so, and that looks like being a bit more tired, less likely to be social, and so forth. It's a small dose of caffeine. Is a small dose caffeine dose every day before a workout okay? Usually take L-theanine afterwards. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think having caffeine before a workout is ideal because caffeine has been proven to help you with performance, whether that's weightlifting or that's aerobic activity, running, jogging, whatever you're doing. And it helps with thermogenesis, burning fat, and also muscle retention. As a result of helping with thermogenesis, you're likely to retain muscle. So I've been taking caffeine pre-workout for years and no plans to stop whatsoever. Well, my current opinion after spending a lot of money on and doing a lot of research is that there's no magic nootropic, and 99% of your mental state is all about lifestyle and diet and discipline. And yeah, that's pretty obvious. And then you can also consider that as a result of you having the right nootropics, you may be more inclined to improve your lifestyle, diet, and discipline. CDP choline versus alpha GPC, we already covered that. So watch the earlier portion of the live stream. By the way, guys, I'll do my best within like an hour of this finishing to get timestamps out there for some of the questions that I spent the most time with. Shout out to Sani, who's helping me do that right now, I hope. Other benefits of rhodiola rosea except stress management. Yeah, I wish rhodiola rosea wasn't like this, but that's pretty much the only thing. Stress management, building a better capacity to tolerate stress. But as a result of that happening, your work ethic will be significantly better. Like the second half of the day during those times when you don't feel like working, when you take rhodiola rosea, it will help you really with work. And you may find, just not everybody finds this, that you get an energy boost from it as well. What's your recommended dosage of L-Tyrosine? So I'm probably taking 1.5 grams a day, which I'm probably taking like 1 gram pre-workout, maybe 500 milligrams sometime in the afternoon along with caffeine, or maybe even just 1 gram pre-workout. So it depends on which way you use it. If you're using it for the workout enhancing properties, then I think going even up to like 1.5 grams is good. 1 gram to 1.5 grams seems to be the most common practice in like pre-workout formulas. But if you're using it to boost your concentration, like for work, for example, if you want to get a couple of hours of good studying done, and L-Tyrosine serves as a nice launch pad to help you like get into action in the first place, then 750 milligrams seems to be a good place for most people. You can consider taking 500 milligrams if you just want to be cautious to start off with. There's really no benefit of exceeding a dose of a gram. If you take, for example, 1.5 grams, you can you get in the state where you're just like too focused. You'll just like stare at the same thing and like focus on it, but you're not productive to actually think of what to do. So it's like good for concentration, but not good for thinking, planning. Do nootropics have a long-term positive effect even after you quit taking them? I don't believe so. I don't really see why they would. Just look at it like all the time that you spent taking nootropics and whatever you've learned throughout that time, whatever experiences you've had, those are experiences you're obviously going to carry with you forward. Come on, Michael, I need a pill like NZT48. Tell me, which one should I take? I have nothing. But watch the older video I made on the top 5 nootropics. More so, what's important is find an ideal nootropic stack, and that will serve as your NZT48. For those of you who are unfamiliar, NZT48 is that really popular, is that pill that was in that movie called Limitless, which exposed a lot of people's minds to the idea of taking a nootropic and wondering if there's like a magic pill out there, which I like to think there is. Maybe. What would you suggest for a writer's block? I would suggest stay away from the caffeine. Take something which will help you with discipline to get through it. Lion's mane could work well. Piracetam could work well. Oxiracetam may work well for you. And stay away from anything which can make it such that you're like a bit too stimulated, because very often that will shut down creativity. We already got to that question. From what I've learned, CDP is the healthier one, a more mild effect but less side effects and long-term issues. Potentially it even increases dopamine receptors long-term. Yeah, I do believe that with alpha GPC. It's such like if you take it for a long period of time and then you get off of it, you do feel less sharp and less like, capable of solving problems on the spot. So I could definitely tell, like when I reintroduced alpha GPC back into my nootropic stack, like I mentioned, I was out of town, I started taking it again. You feel switched on, you feel sharp, you want to be rejected, you want to get into conflicts and have those conversations because you feel like you're on your A game. And I don't know if we have any questions. Okay, there we go. I have ADD. I'm a pre-med student and I've been taking Adderall for over a year. It works, but I'm concerned about the long-term side effects. What do you recommend I try? Ouch, that's like a really bad problem to have because Adderall is so hard to replace. So Chris, what you may want to consider doing is watch the video I've made on the nootropics to take rather than Adderall. I think it's called the top 5 alternatives to Adderall, because is you're going to need to find several nootropics that you can take 2 to 3 times a day, and that's going to be likely to get you and yield the results that you're getting with your Adderall, because there are particular nootropics that can make you kind of feel that way, but they're very short lasting, only a couple of hours. People often ask, how does Modafinil compare to Adderall? There's no comparison. Adderall is like so much stronger. It boosts your concentration so much more. You are more focused. You are more productive. Just the better thing about Modafinil is that you don't get the side effects and you don't feel the withdrawals afterwards, which is why Modafinil is kind of more popular right now. So yeah, definitely stay away from Adderall, because I'm glad you're in your heart of hearts, you should not be taking Adderall. And people have reportedly mentioned on this channel that they've used Adderall for years, and like 5 years later, they're still not feeling like their normal self, which is like sad. So good thing you just get off of that ASAP, hopefully. What's your opinion on Phenibut? I noticed a sort of anxiety hangover effect the day after. Very interesting. I didn't actually notice the anxiety hangover effect the day after, but more so, I feel like the day after it's like still in my system, and you can maybe even get better sleep. So my opinion on Phenibut, I personally don't like it because it's not really going to help you with productivity. It makes you less disciplined. It can make you maybe enjoy things more, enjoy socializing with people, allow you to let loose, can sort of be an alternative. Some people say it's an alternative to alcohol. I'm not somebody that really like goes out and has too much fun outside of work. So not the ideal nootropic for me, but a good alternative for alcohol if that's if that's like what you're looking for, because alcohol, of course, has really bad harmful effects on your body, your recovery, not good for weight training, losing fat, like really not much good that comes from it. But Phenibut, it's not 2 thumbs down, but maybe like half a thumb down. What's a good stack? Somebody asked, what's a good stack for golf? Phosphatidylserine, because there's a study done on it. They actually use phosphatidylserine, and in one of my recent videos, I actually mentioned it. It was used specifically to measure the performance of golf, and they had found that the users that took phosphatidylserine actually had like better ball flights. It was really interesting. I think they used it at a driving range. So that would maybe avoid the stack. Look for nootropics which are going to calm you down. That's generally going to help when it comes to like being present, focused on the important movements when it comes to your golf stroke, and phosphatidylserine definitely comes to mind. Can nootropics fix the brain, such as hippocampus damage? I like to think so. It's hard to say. It depends, of course, how damaged the brain is. What's the best time to take Piracetam? Should you take it with a meal or not? Doesn't matter if you take it with a meal or not, from my experience. And that's most of the Racetams, actually, even though some may say they're fat soluble and maybe better off with like oil or some fat source. Hasn't been my experience. So Piracetam doesn't matter so much. 2 to 3 times a day. For me, what that looked like was, I think it was once when I started studying, so maybe like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. and then again once at 5 or 6 p.m. When taking Ritalin in the correct way, it goes through several processes until it reaches the nervous system. That's an interesting one, Ritalin, because it's short lasting. It's very, very subtle. The mood improvement is there, and the focus is definitely there. I felt pretty good when I was taking Ritalin back in the day. I've taken a gram and a half of phenibut and didn't notice much. Could any other nootropics or prescriptions cause this? Travis, it could as well be the form of phenibut. I didn't notice much from the Nootropics Depot brand, but when I got the brand from Lift Mode specifically, it was the phenibut FAA. I think it's free amino acid. That was one I could definitely tell working. 1 gram would definitely do the trick, and you will notice all the benefits that everybody talks about because it is so highly talked about. Have you personally benefited from taking Huperzine A? Absolutely not. I used to bring it to my exams thinking it would do something along with vinpocetine, like right in my pocket. It didn't do anything for me. And when I learned about other nootropics, specifically like Noopept and some of the Racetams, I never got Huperzine A again. But what was impressive was, back 8, 9, 10 years ago, there weren't a lot of nootropics out there, and Huperzine A was pretty much one of the only one which had researched benefits, and of course the few anecdotes which made people want to try it. Modafinil is, for me, amazing for appetite suppression. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Definitely really easy to lose weight with Modafinil. Best weight loss nootropics. Caffeine, yohimbine, if you do fasted cardio especially. Green tea extract, don't underestimate the power of that. And then, of course, there's all those things which can help you a little bit, like cayenne pepper being one, which does have research showing you may get like a slight metabolic boost, but like it's so insignificant it doesn't matter much. More so, just look for the nootropics and look for the routines in your day-to-day that are going to help you to suppress your appetite, and then you'll be good. And caffeine is really, really effective at like getting you, if you're a male, like lower than 15% body fat, especially if you're not the body type for it. If your body is such and your family and everyone's is used to being between 15 to 20% plus body fat, that's like pretty much my family. Nobody's really that fit. Then caffeine is a really good tool to help you get through that plateau, get you lean, get you to single digits if you want to. Single digits body fat percentage, meaning like 8% body fat, 9% body fat. And when you're at that body fat, you'll know you're there because you'll have more than just an outline of your six pack. You will have, like, for example, your shoulder separation between your bicep and your tricep will be really prominent. It'll look dry. That's how you know you've achieved that. How long after Tonkat Ali did you feel the effects? Pretty much within a week. Just from doing a simple exercise like bench press, like normal grip, bench press, not wide, not close grip. Like, yeah, it was pretty impressive. I wasn't really eating in a calorie surplus or trying to gain weight necessarily, but like my lift was heavier, and then I started noticing across all my lifts, and didn't notice too much of the libido boost, but it was specifically with that. Is Piracetam or Piracetam better? I thought he said tasted better. I'm like, don't ever try consuming Piracetam without taking it in capsule form. So Piracetam is probably more effective, but I think overall Piracetam is better when you take into consideration long-term benefits, the versatility, of the nootropic to be taking with other people. To take it with other nootropics. How different is Adrafinil from Modafinil? Zach, if you jump like 20 minutes prior to this, then I did cover that. Which one is better? I woke up and Chip. I think that's it, guys. I don't think we have any more questions. So I'll try to post timestamps as soon as possible. Thank you all for your interest in nootropics. Don't be shy about sharing the channel with others. And if you are an ambitious real estate agent, Canada, North America, even outside of North America or US, and you'd like to connect for opportunity, then do contact me either on Instagram or Patreon. And I'll look forward to seeing you all next time. Take care, guys.